Welcome
to New Entry Wrestling Podcast, baby.
Hello, welcome to New Entry Wrestling Podcast. This is Ever, one half of New Entry Podcast with Ian. Today we're doing a special episode. Before I start, I want to let you know, check out our new merch store at Pro Wrestling Tees. Search for New Entry Wrestling Podcast. We got a cool shirt up there. We're gonna add more designs later. You can also still get us on teespring.com. Get your shirts on there as well. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at New Entry Wrestling Pod, and check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe our channel. We're gonna start doing some live feeds as well in the future. Today, I'm talking about my top 10 underdog victories. Thank you for joining us. Pro wrestling is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you will get. I can tell you, it's always amazing no matter what chocolate you get. People throughout history have been impressed when an unlikely person or group of people overcome the odds and win. David vs. Goliath, the 1980s United States men's hockey team beating the Soviet Union at the Olympics, a bunch of college kids. Cleveland actually winning something. The Cubs winning the World Series after a 108-year-old drought. Um, and many more. They're amazing underdogs overcoming after thinking no one had a chance they could win. In pro wrestling, we are fortunate enough to have underdog victories as well. Things we never expected to happen. Going, holy, you know what? This is awesome. Today we're talking about my top 10 underdog victories. Let's go. At number 10, I have Mikey Ripwrench winning the ECW television title. Mikey Whipwrench was one of the most beloved wrestlers in ECW. He always was getting beat up, but entertaining each time. Imagine becoming champion without any offense, but it happened. It was May 13, 1994. It was Mikey Whipwrench, the challenger, facing Pitbull number 1, the ECW television champion. Everyone was expecting for Pitbull number 1 to retain, but a distraction by the Tasmaniac, now known as Taz, to Pitbull number 1, allowed Whipwreck to go ahead on the roll up and get for the 1, 2, 3. Mike Whipwreck was the new ECW television champion, and everyone was shocked. Truly underdog victory in wrestling history. At number 9, I have Jinder Mahal winning a WWE Championship from Randy Orton. Jinder Mahal was not expected to be a WWE champion at all. He debuted as a mid-carder, then part of 3MB, as a rocker and jobber, then getting released and shockingly winning the WWE Championship against Randy Orton at WWE Backlash on May 21st, 2017, a multiple-time world champion after resigning with the WWE. No one expected this to happen. A jobber like Mahal becoming WWE champion. If you look back at the footage, you can see people laughing at the absurdity of it actually happening. We thought it was a one and done championship turned into a 6-month reign. It was truly one of the biggest underdog victories in wrestling history. At number 8, I have Paige. Paige winning the WWE Divas Championship in her debut against AJ Lee. Paige was one of the best wrestlers on NXT, holding the NXT Women's Championship. It was the night after WrestleMania in 2014 on Raw. Paige came out to congratulate AJ Lee, the current WWE Divas Champion, on the longest reign as the Divas Champion herself. AJ Lee was not impressed by Paige when she came out. She challenged her to face her for the Divas Championship. Paige stated she was not ready, but a slap convinced her otherwise. Paige will go ahead and actually win the Divas Championship with a Paige turner on her first night on the main roster. Fans were shocked. No one else was more shocked than AJ Lee herself. An underdog victory that has led a star to be born. Let's let a star to be born. Now she just recently left WWE, but yeah, that let her become a star in the WWE roster. Number 7, I have Tommy Dreamer winning the ECW Championship. Tommy Dreamer is one of the most beloved wrestlers. He had to fight his way to prove that he was hardcore. Like he said, I'm hardcore. He fought and clawed his way to the hearts of ECW faithful, but many could not see him as champion. But it was April 22nd, 2000 at ECW CyberSlam. Tommy Dreamer, the challenger, facing the human suplex machine Taz. Taz just came back to ECW and was unstoppable. No one expected Tommy Dreamer to win. After going back and forth, Taz locked in the Taz mission. Dreamer broke out of it and won with a roll up. The place erupted and Dreamer finally got his moment. He said, and I quote, "I've been waiting for my whole life for this. I may never make it to WrestleMania. I never want to make it to Starcade, but I made it to in the ECW arena." The fans are truly happy for Tommy Dreamer. Although he lost the title the same night, unfortunately, it's truly still one of the greatest victories in my book in history. Number six, I have Rey Mysterio winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 22. Rey Mysterio has been an underdog in his wrestling career, starting as a teenager in Mexico as Colibri and Super Niño and La Carita Verde to his time in WWE. It was April 2nd, 2006, live from the Allstate Arena in Chicago. It was Randy Orton versus Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 22 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Rey Mysterio came off his impressive run, winning the Royal Rumble earlier that year in memory of his beloved friend Eddie Guerrero, who passed away in November 2005. Everyone was excited that Rey won a Royal Rumble. Many thought it was the end of the underdog story at WrestleMania 22. Rey Mysterio had a chip on his shoulder, and he had to be determined to win. The match lasted about 18 minutes, and Rey Mysterio came out on top. Everyone was shocked that an underdog finally found his day. Um, Let's continue. Number five, I have the 1-2-3 Kid beats Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon was one of the hottest things in wrestling before his match with the unknown 1-2-3 Kid, known today as Sean Waltman or X-Pac. It was May 13th, 1993 edition of Monday Night Raw. 1-2-3 Kid was a small guy and facing the ever so cocky Razor Ramon. Many people expecting Razor Ramon to win in a squash match. Razor Ramon was truly giving a beating to the 1-2-3 Kid, playing around with him and tossing him around the ring. After a couple minutes, the 1-2-3 Kid made a comeback, hit the moonsault, and pinned Razor Ramon. 1, 2, 3. Crowd erupted with cheers, and Razor was left shocked, losing to the 1-2-3 Kid, running out of the ring and to the back as quickly as possible. And Razor it's just so memorable at that one. Number four, I would actually say Kofi Kingston winning the WWE Championship. Kofi had been in the WWE for a long time, winning the Tag Team Championship multiple occasions, as well as the IC title and the US title. But at 37 years old at the time, many did not see Kofi as becoming a WWE champion. Kofi had a great showing at the Elimination Chamber, but couldn't get the win. Kofi actually had to set to prove himself after trial and tribulation. He got his title match at WrestleMania 35 against Daniel Bryan. Kofi Mania, otherwise it's called. Many fans were impressed with Kofi getting the title shot, but not expecting him to beat Daniel Bryan at all. Kofi actually did the impossible. He ended up winning the WWE Championship. Everyone was excited, and it was amazing. Kofi did it all, and so much better knowing that he's becoming WWE Champion. At number three, I have Zack Ryder winning the IC Championship. Zack Ryder was a Mick Carter that any would expect to win any single titles. It was WrestleMania 32, a ladder match featuring Sin Cara, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, Stardust, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, the champion at the time, and Zack Ryder for the WWE IC title. Everyone expected for Kevin Owens to retain or Sami Zayn, who had just a crazy match with Nakamura and NXT TakeOver Dallas, to come out as champion. After a back and forth with all the wrestlers in the match, Ryder went ahead and after a mistake from The Miz and climbed the ladder and became the new Intercontinental Champion. The fans were shocked and excited for Ryder. Were like woo woo woo, but he was short-lived. Unfortunately, he ended up losing shortly after that. Number two, surprisingly, I have Mick Foley winning the WWF Championship. It was the December 4th, 1999 edition of Monday Night Raw, at the height of the Monday Night War between the WWF, now WWE, versus WCW. The Rock was set to face Mankind, aka Mick Foley, for the WWF Championship. And The Rock is the champ. For many of the fans, they did not see Mankind as winning the championship, especially being in stiff competition with WCW. The match was truly one of the momentum shifters for WWF to beat the WCW in the ratings. WCW would give the results of the match as Raw was pre-taped. Tony Schiavone stated that we understand Mick Foley, who wrestled here as Cactus Jack, is going to win their world title. That's going to put a lot of butts in the seats. 600,000 people actually switched from WCW Nitro to WWF Monday Night Raw to watch what many thought was never going to happen. Mick Foley was truly an underdog, fighting his way to the top in the WWE and truly becoming a game changer in the Monday Night War. And it's truly the most memorable underdog victories in wrestling history. And now to the moment we've all been waiting for number one. I have Daniel Bryan, now Bryan Danielson, winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan has always been an underdog in his wrestling career. When he came to WWE, some speculated he would never be a breakout star. He would just be a mid Carter. After fighting and proving himself time and time again, he would strike a nerve with the authority, run by Triple H and Stephanie. Bryan actually struck a chord with the WWE Universe and couldn't be denied his chance to become champion. Daniel Bryan had to beat Triple H, challenge for the WWE Championship later that night versus Batista and Orton. A task many thought was not possible, but he ended up being Triple H. Next, he beat up Batista and Randy Orton. Uh, and many thought, okay, the underdog story is over. No one, no, that's not the case. Actually, Daniel Bryan won. The arena filled with joy as Daniel Bryan carried both belts on his shoulders. The yes chant going back and forth. Yes, 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 yes. And that for me is number one. Daniel Bryan win a W Championship. Underdog victories like the ones I showcased today are what makes wrestling so great. You never know what you're gonna get, like box of chocolates. But you cannot wait for more underdogs shockingly shocking the world, and we'll definitely talk about it. This is Ever. Before we go, I want to let you know, check out our new store, teespring.com. Search for New Entry Wrestling Podcast. Check out our design on there. We're going to add more later. Also, so check us out on teespring.com as well. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at New Entry Wrestling Podcast. And also, check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe our channel. Tell people about it. And this is Ever, one half of New Entry Wrestling Podcast with Ian. Thank you so much. Bye bye, guys.